Customer service, how may I help you? Sure. Do you know your policy number? Okay.
Can I have your name,
And
sir? Address? And I need your zip code.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't say when we'll be getting back.
What you're about to hear is the remarkable story of how I became, I guess what you'd call a team player. It all started with what everyone referred to then as simply the problem.
Mildred is returning these again, and she asked me to stress that they be processed correctly this time. And these are a new stack from yesterday.
Look at this. This claim is over a month old.
Don't look at me. I just work here.
The problem was that it was taking on the average 18 days to process a claim. In some cases, it was over a month. We were losing business because of it. Needless to say, upper management wasn't very happy.
Thank you for your call.
Tina, you're going to have to call this guy back again.
Management, in its infinite wisdom, had decided that the best people to solve the problem were us. So they formed an ongoing, permanent customer service team.
I'm sick and tired of having every problem in this division dumped onto the doorstep of my department.
Please, Barry, we're not dumping anything on your doorstep.
Yes, you are, Mildred.
We were a team only in a very loose sense of the word. To be more precise, we were a group of individuals who got together once a week to accomplish little or nothing. I was elected to keep notes and report on our progress to management. So far, I'd had nothing to report.
Maybe you should take it. I'm doing my job. I wish you'd
Excuse
do the
me,
same.
Barry, Mildred, could I interject something here? We have a proposal due in 4 weeks. Now, I think we need to start dealing constructively with the stated goal we have, and that is how to cut the current processing time of 18 days down to the much hoped-for 8.
Excuse me, Ted, I don't mean to interrupt, but maybe if we got the right paperwork, even every once in a while, it would make a huge difference.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't go pointing the finger at my department.
Why shouldn't I have to send back almost every form 3 and 4 times.
Everybody seemed to be concerned with one thing and one thing only, themselves.
Hi, guys. Mind if I join you?
Sure. Some meeting, huh? Felt like we should sell tickets. Barry the Bulldog versus Mildred the Wicked let you the last.
It's not that bad.
It's not. Where have you been, Tina?
Well, if you ask me, the problem isn't just Barry and Mildred. It's all of us. At least they have something to say. The rest of us just sit there like bumps on a log.
Well, what concerns me is that in 4 weeks, I'm going to have to go upstairs empty-handed. Now, how's that going to look?
If you ask me, this whole team idea is dumb.
I don't think it's a dumb idea. We're the ones who actually have to do this stuff. We should be the best ones to figure out our own problems.
If it's such a great idea, why isn't it working?
I don't know. Maybe if some people just learned a little consideration.
And who's going to teach them that valuable lesson in life?
I don't know. Somebody.
Right.
Something needed to be done. Somebody needed to take responsibility. But, of course, nobody was going to.
I think it is only right to examine the actual facts. So, I've taken the liberty to prepare some statistics about our processing times, which I think you'll find quite excellent.
Doing it fast isn't the issue, Mildred. The issue is doing it right.
I take offense at your suggesting we don't do things right.
Take offense. I don't care. It's the truth.
It is not the truth.
Stop it! Would you two just stop it? I refuse to sit here through another hour of you two shouting at each other. Does anybody want to know what I think is the problem around here?
Yeah. Tina, what do you think?
The problem is us. And it's not just Barry and Mildred. It's not the claim forms. It's all of us. We're not a team. We're just a bunch of people who get together once a week to have stupid arguments, or fall asleep, or talk on the phone when we should be focusing on the team. We don't have the first clue how to work together. That's the problem. And until we figure that out, I don't think that anything else is even worth discussing.
It was an amazing speech. Tina had done something that, until then, none of us had dared. She had taken responsibility for a team problem.
I, for one, don't think my arguments are stupid.
Get real, Barry. You're the biggest windbag since the Goodyear blimp.
Well, excuse me, Miss Reach Out America plan. At least I make an effort, unlike some people at this table who spend the entire meeting on the phone.
Okay, I admit it. I didn't realize it was such a problem.
Tina got us focused on the real problem, us. Until we could work together as a team, nothing was going to get accomplished. And the first step to that was getting our feelings out in the open.
Now, this is great. We're all making some real valid points here. Now, does anybody have any suggestions on what we can do to change things?
I think we should get a restraining order on Barry and Mildred.
Thank you, Jackie. We could just disconnect the phone.
The point is not to shut certain people up. It's to get certain other people talking.
Well, we would talk if you would only shut up.
Finally beat you. I finally won it.
Not quite.
What do you mean I beat you fair and square?
The ball hit the ceiling.
So what?
The ball's not supposed to hit the ceiling.
Since when?
Since you put the rules on the wall, go see for yourself.
The ceiling is considered out of bounds.
Sorry, rules is rules.
Of course, it was so simple. It was as old as history.
My serve.
Huh? Oh, yeah, right. Go ahead.
At the next meeting, I decided to pitch the idea to the team.
What if we were to adopt a few ground rules?
What do you mean, ground rules?
Well, you know, a few simple rules that if we all agreed upon them, they would act as sort of an accepted standard of behavior, like the rules of a game.
Give us an example.
Okay, here's one. Team problems are everybody's responsibility. We're not going to solve anything if a few of us do all the talking and the rest of us just sit back and say nothing.
That's not really a rule. It's more like a guiding principle.
How about no bench sitters? Everyone is expected to actively participate in all discussions.
Now, I like that.
And what if we have a rule that the discussion goes around the table and everyone gets to make one comment? I think, you know, that way everyone would really get a fair chance.
Right. Then everyone would have a chance to at least say something.
That's good. I like that. How about if I write all these down and we can vote on the ones we want?
What if somebody doesn't have anything to say?
Well, they can pass, but at least that way they'd have a fair chance.
I've got a rule. Team time belongs to the team. Everyone is expected to be here. No showing up late and no phone calls during the meeting.
And everybody must brush their teeth before every meeting.
Okay, I have one. Number 3. No derogatory comments. Treat people with respect all the time.
Okay, no derogatory. Yeah, derogatory. How do you spell derogatory?
Just put down no put-downs, okay?
No, I like that. There's nothing worse than having somebody shoot down your idea without even really thinking about it.
Exactly. Instead of putting something down, try to understand where the other person's coming from. You know, ask questions.
What do you mean, ask questions?
Well, instead of saying, Jackie, that's really a dumb idea, and making me feel like a complete idiot, you could try asking, why do you feel that way?
Okay, all right, no put-downs, ask questions.
How about no getting sidetracked? We all focus on one problem at a time. I think that'll help keep our discussion focused.
That's great.
I don't know if they were the best set of rules in the world, but they worked for us. They were a way for us to finally begin thinking and behaving like a team.
To cut claim processing down from an average of 18 days to 8. Before jumping to solutions, I think we need to focus in on the causes. What's the cause of the problem? Tina, why don't you start?
Well, I think the cause is that whenever there's a question about a form, it always gets sent back to the people on the phones. And we just don't have the time to keep up with all those callbacks. Everything gets backed up.
Maybe if you just got it right the first time?
Excuse me, Barry, but it's not your turn yet, and I do think that comment qualifies as a put-down.
Sorry. Sorry, you're right. 2 detentions.
You know what I think the problem is? I think the problem is that every claim we get requires some oddball piece of information. I mean, the people on the phone can't be expected to ask every conceivable question.
Right. Exactly.
Ray.
No comment.
Come on, Ray. Remember rule number 1. Everybody's responsible for team problems.
I know. I just don't have anything to say.
Ray, you're on this team for a reason.
Look, I'm just the middleman. My job is to move paperwork around.
Yeah, but Ray, you're the only person here who deals with all 3 departments. I mean, you've got a pretty unique perspective.
Well, okay, let's see. I think the problem might be that Well, nobody likes to do somebody else's work.
What do you mean?
Well, when Claims has a problem with a form, they send it down to Records. But it always seems to sit there for a few days because Records is too busy with new stuff. Then it goes down to Customer Service, where it sits for a few more days because they're busy too. Nobody likes to deal with headaches. It's just human nature, I guess. I think that's part of the problem.
I was stunned. Ray had hit on something that none of us would have considered. That's when it hit me. We were all on this team for a reason. The deadline for our team proposal had, of course, not gone away. We only had 1 week left. But now, I was inspired. I made it a point to do some homework for the next meeting. I knew we could come up with something.
Okay, I've been doing some thinking.
Fire away, big guy.
All right, first of all, what if we were to assign one person in each department to deal strictly with return forms? That way, there wouldn't be a backlog because it'd be somebody's job to handle that right away.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Secondly, we could make it a team project to redesign the existing forms. Instead of there being just one form for everything, we could have different forms for different situations. That way, we'd stand a better chance of getting the right information right off the bat.
How many different forms?
I don't know. Maybe a half a dozen. We could decide on that later.
Seems like a good idea.
I like the first part. And really, all you're suggesting about the forms is that we consider changes at some later date.
Yes, right.
It works for me.
I guess we have to come up with something.
I felt like the end was finally in sight. We were finally all starting to work together as a real team. But then, it happened.
Good. Okay, we're all agreed. Barry, what do you think?
What do I think? I think it's a half-baked idea, that's what I think.
Don't start, Barry.
Look, it's not a put-down, it's not a negative thing, I just think it's a half-baked idea. I think it's a Band-Aid solution.
Why do you think it's a Band-Aid solution, Barry?
Because it doesn't deal with the real problems. It just deals with the symptoms. It institutionalizes mistakes.
So what is the real problem, Barry?
The real problem is that the people on the phones make too many mistakes because they don't understand what information to ask for.
There are too many unique situations, Barry. You can't expect one person to understand all of them.
All right, but Ted's idea doesn't address that problem. It just accepts it as a given. I mean, if the dam is leaking, you don't go around handing out buckets. You plug up the dam.
I wanted to kill the guy.
Let me remind everybody that we have a proposal due on Monday. So, Barry, do you have an alternative solution?
Not right now. I just started thinking about it.
We've got a deadline. I move that we put Ted's proposal to a vote. I vote for it.
Me too. I'm tired of screwing around with this.
I vote no.
Well, I vote to stick with my proposal. Ray.
I'm with you. I think it works.
Tina.
I'd like to make another ground rule.
There's no more ground rules, Tina. That was last week.
I think we should make a rule that every vote has to be unanimous.
Why would you want to do that?
I think if we're not all behind something, it's never going to work. We should keep talking until we all agree.
That's a real interesting idea, Tina, but right now we're voting on this proposal. It's 4-1. What's your vote?
I vote no. I think Barry's right. We should try to come up with a better idea.
I agree with Tina. I think we should wait.
It was a disaster. Just when we were on the brink of success, everything fell to pieces.
Excuse me, Ray, Tina, have you forgotten that I'm the one who has to go up to management? What am I supposed to say?
Say we need more time. I think we need to give Barry a chance to make his case. Does everybody agree?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Ted,
What?
I'm sorry about what happened. I was just saying what I felt.
That's great, Tina. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't suppose it ever occurred to you the position you were putting me in?
What do you mean?
I'm the person who's been selected to go to management and say, sorry, guys, we haven't come up with anything. I know it's been months, but we're just slow, I guess.
You know how that makes me look? Like a loser. Like some guy who can't deliver.
It's not your fault, Ted. We're a team, remember?
Yeah, but it looks like my fault.
I'm sorry, Ted.
Great. That's a big help.
After being so hopeful, I was frankly ready to give up. It wasn't just that I had to face my boss empty-handed. It was that even after all my effort, the team was a failure.
Okay, here's what I've come up with. Now, I know this is going to sound a little far-fetched to everybody, but just bear with me. The problem, as we've noted, is that there are many different types of claims, and each one requires, as Jackie put it so well in the last meeting, its own unique oddball information, and nobody can be expected to understand it all.
So, what are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that we reorganize the entire division.
That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
Ted.
It's absurd. It's completely unworkable.
Ted.
What?
Ground rule number 3. Questions, not put-downs.
Right. Sorry. Okay. Barry, how do you suggest we reorganize the entire division?
Okay. The problem is we're expecting everybody to be able to process every type of claim. It's too much. It's not working.
So what do?
We create 6 what we'll call pods. Now, each pod has a specialty. Each pod includes somebody from customer service, a records person, and a claims adjuster. And each one will train the other on how to do the entire process.
It sounds like you're making things more complicated than they already are.
Well, maybe at first, but once we get it worked out, we'll create a situation where each claim will be handled by somebody who knows exactly how to process it, which means mistakes will go way down, which means processing time will go way down, which means way more happy customers.
It would mean rearranging office space.
I don't know anything about claims or records, and I don't know when I'd have time to learn it either.
I think we've given Barry his fair due here. We're already a week behind schedule. I say we just vote and get it over with.
Wait a minute. Ted, you haven't said anything yet.
I realized that this was my chance to send Barry's crazy idea hurling into oblivion. And it would have been so easy. And easy on my ego. There was only one thing that stopped me. I knew in my heart that his idea was better than mine.
I think Barry's right. Sorry, I think Barry's right. I think the idea is really good. I think it needs some refinement and some discussion with the whole group. But I think it could work.
I don't think I need to remind you that we are already past our deadline.
No, believe me, I know. But look, we've got to ask ourselves a serious question. Do we want it done fast, or do we want it done right?
That's when it happened. That's when I realized that being on a team wasn't about giving in. It wasn't about getting our own priorities and egos out of the way. It was about being a part of something bigger than ourselves. It was about getting something done that, on our own, we couldn't even imagine doing.
How'd it go?
Well, I made the presentation to management this morning. And they were leery and they were doubtful. And when I was done, they said it was a very bold and effective idea, and they want to meet with us to talk over the details. You're kidding? No. They loved it. They thought it was great. They thought it was almost as good as their idea of turning us into a team.
I tell you, well, wonders never cease, huh?
Hey, you deserve a lot of credit. It was a really terrific idea.
I didn't even think it would work. I mean, not until you got behind it.
You serious?
I mean, I thought it was a crazy idea. But I had to come up with something. That's all I could think of.
Give me a break, Barry.
Honestly, Ted, if it wasn't for every single person on that team, that idea never would have happened. I mean, think about it. Tina, Ray, Jackie, Mildred, and especially you. I just wanted to say thanks from me and from everybody for everything that you did. And for hanging in there.
I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Thank you.
No. Thank you. Get out of here. Come on.
Barry was right. We all played a part in making the team work. Probably the most important thing I learned is that everybody on a team has to take responsibility for problems. Don't just sit back, do something. The ground rules made a big difference. Having the discussion go around the table ensures that everyone participates. Team time belongs to the team. Making people conscious of bad habits is often all it takes to get rid of those habits. No put-downs. Ask questions. That's a biggie. If team members don't have respect for each other, they don't have anything. Don't get sidetracked. Concentrate on one problem at a time. Use step-by-step problem solving. Don't make the mistake I almost made of settling for the first solution you come up with. Good solutions take time. Consider every possibility. And don't be afraid of bold new ideas. They can mean a real breakthrough. Finally, I guess it's worth remembering that the team isn't there to help you advance your own private agenda. You've got to be able to let go of the old ways of doing things and have the courage to face change and the faith that together we can always accomplish much more than we ever could alone. That's being a team.